I'm into a field which is insurance industry, wherein you don't get results every day, and it's a very long drawn process, and which creates a lot of stress. By doing meditation, the stress level becomes zero.
After doing this course, I've learned a lot of things. I've started being very calm. When I get up, usually I would be like very tense, a lot of stress. But now when I get up, I have always a smile on my face. I always have a positive word when I get up. That is the best thing which I experience every morning now after doing meditation.
I've been struggling for past 5 to 6 years, because of our belief systems. There wasn't clarity about certain important decisions that I had to make in my life. And during this 40 days, I realized that this is it. And I think I'm able to make that decision. So I'm very, very grateful for that clarity.
For me, meditation has been that thing that calmed my mind, cleansed me out of those fears of anxiety of the future, right? And also helped me connect to my intuition. We all call meditation is not a technique, meditation is a practice.
I was not able to sleep and I wake up in between my sleep. But yesterday when I meditate before sleeping, it was a very peaceful sleep. Like my overthinking is decreasing day by day. I think positive in every aspect. I have an anxiety issue earlier, but now it decreases.
Happy morning and happy evening, friends and masters. Welcome, a very warm welcome to each one of you in this presence program. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time in this program, my name is Jayashree. I'll be your host for today. So just wanted to share my very brief experience about my meditation, how it was, I would not say benefits, but losing many of the things which are unwanted in me and towards everyone near me through meditation. So I did not enter this path with clarity or any kind of confidence, but I just entered it with curiosity. So maybe around 10 or 11 years of age. So I asked too many questions, like the inner chatter was always going on. Why are we here? Why me? Why this happened to me? Why? What is the truth? Why do we suffer? A lot of questions, just curiosity. And that curiosity just slowly grew into search, and used to attend a lot of sessions, meditation, wherever I hear the word, not quite of online sessions we had that time. So I used to go and listen to masters and read books which I got from my grandfather and hear from him about many guru stories. And he used to have posters of them in his room. And all this eventually, it just went into a longing for something deeper. And of course, like a regular, any what we do, just concentrated. I was just concentrating on my studies, on my career a lot, and doing less of meditation. But for past 6 years, there's been a very deep practice. And all the way, the practice, how much ever, the little time I did also, I know it helped me a lot with gaining the confidence within me and manifesting what I want. Though unknowingly I was doing everything, but it was all happening. And the root was getting formed, the roots were becoming very stronger and stronger. Now I realize that now the awareness is there more. And I should say 6 years ago, without telling my mother, I quietly signed up for the Vipassana retreat, and I went because many in my family would never accept, why this is needed for you, or they had this fear that I would leave everything and go away, sitting on top of the mountains or inside a cave and meditating. So that is all a myth. Many of us also, before coming into this journey, would have that, right? So then after I came back, I told her, and of course I had to hear a lot from her, but now she's a regular and sincere meditator. So what I would like to say is, your energy, when you raise your vibration and you go into that higher energy states, that will spread, and everyone around you will understand you too. So this is for many of you who think, okay, I'm doing it, but there is no support system for me. So yes, heartfelt gratitude to everyone, my family, friends, everyone who support me in this journey a lot. And because of that, I'm able to do whatever I can as a service. So, but I didn't know what I was looking for when I just felt like there was a deep calling that I have to go, and I went, and it was a very, very profound experience for me. And then the breakthrough came when I attended the quantum creation workshop here in Abu Dhabi by my dear mentor, Chandra sir. So I met Vani ma'am, Chandra sir there, and I went through all the sessions because then my analytical mind was at peace, because the scientific explanation just gave me deeper satisfaction, that contentment. And I started trusting the process actually only from that time 100%. So, and that retreat, the quantum creation and few other sessions from the foundation became a turning point. It was a breakthrough for me. And this was all not because suddenly I became wise or very calm and uh, uh, just being a perfect, nothing like that. Because that was the first time I started experiencing that silence strong enough to show me my own mind, my own limiting beliefs. The awareness was in plenty, and to show me what I really need in my life and what can give me contentment, not just satisfaction. So then over time, my practice intensified. And yes, I started experimenting a lot, doing little long hours of meditation, or just reprogramming limiting beliefs. Everything was an experiment and exploration for me. Reading more about the concepts, whatever I was hearing from masters. Then the more answers started coming from within. And it was not just like words or clarity, it was that intuition feeling and following that feeling too. Sometimes you need to come out of that comfort zone to follow that feeling, which I started experimenting. I was never a person who will go and come out of the comfort zone and do something with complete confidence, but that transformation happens slowly. The new way of seeing life itself. And as a family, yes, we had a major test when my husband was diagnosed with an autoimmune acute condition. We went to many, many specialists here in Dubai, and we consulted many doctors in India too. But it was just, but the meditation practice itself, I stayed calm, and I was very, very positive that he's going to be completely all right. He'll be healed. That intuition was there. Without this practice, I would be completely broken that time. Because of my childhood, the experience, I formed a belief system that the fear of losing someone, I had this fear. So because of meditation practice, I was able to overcome that, and with complete confidence, and I was able to give him that complete moral support. And every doctors we went, they said, here, you have to live, this will be a lifelong condition for you. There is no medication for this. So then he started learning meditation. Though he was observing me doing and all this, but he was not into the practice. And then the meditation, the wisdom, and that inner alignment. And within 8 to 10 months, I've seen this day in and day out, he completely healed his condition. The reports, the doctors were surprised. And that experience strengthened our trust in this path even more than anything else. And yes, the last few months have been very, very extraordinary for me, especially because I have a feeling that something is accelerated. The learning, clarity, inner shifts. There is a lot of learning going on this few months, because they say, right, when you are a meditator and our karmic patterns feel like they are unwinding at a pace that I would never imagine. I've heard this, but I'm experiencing that. Yes, there is lot of learning. There is lot of tests going on, but I'm also enjoying the process. There is a sense of being, just guided and held by something deeper. So what I would like to say is, when we take, what is my learning greatly is when we take one sincere step inward, life takes 10 steps towards us. That is my great learning. And these few months, of course, the very, very subtle feelings of that I, right? Yes, and of getting carried away with illusion, very, very subtle. Sometimes it is very, you're unknowingly this happens, that deeper layers are getting dissolved, I feel. And with that, my heartfelt gratitude, definitely for our inspiration, Pitama Brahmashri Patriji, and my heartfelt gratitude to my dear, dear mentor Chandra sir and Vani ma'am, and our very dearest mentor, Karthikeyan sir, for always, for giving us this platform so beautifully and very structured way, and very easy for us to access any resource in the foundation. I've met many, many masters, but he's someone who doesn't say, you are one, we are all one among each other, we are all of the same conscience. He truly implements what he says. So that is what I look up to him as. And whenever there has been any kind of, little bit of that Maya illusion strikes you, right? We are just energy beings, but having a human experience now and then. Without me saying anything, they would call and just ask, hope all is fine. And I would get, or just like that, I would just get my answers from them, and many other masters too. And really grateful to all the masters and whom I interact with the team, and each and every masters in the foundation or outside the foundation, because I'm just learning from every one of them. When you're very, very receptive, there is always a learning. Even from a 2-year-old, you will be learning. 1-year-old, you will be learning. but you need to have, you need to be receptive. You need to let those frequency match and the signals come into you for your greater good too, and for others. So that is how I see myself, and this is my brief saying of my journey. So heartfelt gratitude for listening to me, and we will go into our meditation session now. And after meditation, Chandra sir will be joining us, and we will hear yet again some profound wisdom from him. So yes, so those of you who have joined us now in this program, so fingers clasped and hands on your lap. And if you're sitting on a chair or sofa, you can cross your feet at the ankle level. Kindly remove your specs or glasses. You don't need that for this practice. And no forceful inhalation, no forceful exhalation. You'll just observe your own natural breath. And we will do a heart elevation process for a few minutes and then go into our Anapanasati meditation, breath mindfulness meditation. Ever grateful to this great spiritual scientist, Gautama Buddha, who got this practice discovered and made this available to all of us, and to Patriji, who just made it so simplified and made it accessible to everyone. So heartfelt gratitude. Let's start a meditation session, friends.
Dear friends, dear masters, with your specs removed, eyes closed, keep your hands in your chest area. And resting your attention on your sacred heart. And can you feel your beautiful heart? Feel the center of all emotions, nurturing all life. With its higher vibration of love, compassion, kindness, gratitude. Can you recollect an experience from your past? Or simply imagine to be living an experience of higher emotions of love, deep joy, gratitude. Relive that moment and feel that energy. The more you experience, this higher emotions and energy of love, compassion, the more coherent you become. With all things and everyone. We are all deeply interconnected. Deep inside, we are specks of energy connected to each other. Yourself to direct this energy, to spread this energy to everyone and everything on this planet, to help them elevate themselves. Where your attention goes, there your energy flows. Feel. And slowly, let's go into breath mindfulness meditation. With your fingers into fingers, hands comfortably rested in your lap. Observe your normal, natural in-breath and the out-breath. We are going into powerful group meditation, dear friends. Observe your natural in-breath and the out-breath. When you observe your breath, your mind becomes empty. The mind is becoming empty. We experience greater emptiness. That calmness inside of you, all around you. It is natural to have thought. When you recognize your thinking, go back to observing your breath and allow yourself to go into the deeper states of calmness, emptiness. As the mind is becoming empty, all that liberated energy is channelized into the present moment. Your body begins to function at its natural best. You develop greater power of thought. into your breath and allow yourself to experience that emptiness, calmness inside of you, all around you. Become aware of that calmness, stillness within you as you merge into your breath. All emptiness is energy. This is the quantum field of limitless dimensions, the field of infinite possibilities. The more you are with it, the more you tune in to the abundance of healing energy. empowerment energy. That energy of love, that energy of the mystic, or whatever you can become aware of. Falls into this emptiness of no body, of no thing. Less matter, more emptiness and energy. as the mind is rested, you move away from this matter, your body. You experience that emptiness, energy, the feel of all connection, the field of all wisdom. The more you are in this calmness, emptiness, the more insightful you become, the more connected you become. Merge into the emptiness of yourself, your divine self. Receive your greater mind, that awareness. the more you are with it, the more you experience your intuitive intelligence. The more you develop that acceptance, and the more effortless life becomes. Friends, it's truly a privilege to be experiencing this life, to be exploring consciousness for a greater life at this time of history. Many are not so blessed. Can you express gratitude to everything and to everyone? Be grateful to this intelligent universe. To your parents, to your teachers, to your mentors. Deep gratitude to yourself, to your body. Give thanks to this nature, the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom. Gratitude to all the people in your life, to everyone. To everything, the technology, the system, the company, the governments. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. Recollect your experiences from the session. And whenever you're ready, you can keep your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds. And then you open your eyes. Okay, dear friends, hope you enjoy the session. Meditation does not end the problems. You may be hearing a little bit from that from Jaysha Madam. We continue to have what we call several tests. The problems come, but they don't stay as problems anymore. Nothing is seen as a problem. Three hours in traffic, okay, it happened. It's not a problem that we carry. Discussion around it. That would be wasting our time. That would be losing our energy. That would be creating the same again for us. That awareness is there. That problem is dissolved into, okay, so I've got 3 hours today. Let me just plug in and listen to an audiobook. What do you do otherwise? Go into silence and be quiet there. Problems for a meditator will transform into challenges. Further, they transform into adventures. We all will have the journey. Adventure is where you actively seek and jump into it. Everything is fine, but you jump into it because that's the nature, is to curiously keep looking and then exploring things. You don't seek comfort zone. As adventure is where you jump into it. Yes, a salesman is saying, I would like to go to that war-torn country and then do business. They're seeking an adventure. A mother of two is saying, I would like to go, and young children, but I would like to go to Everest Base Camp and spend some time and come back. Seeking an adventure. You don't even come back, but you want to still go. They decided to go. Initially, it would have been a big problem. Even to think of going, even if somebody offered, somebody pushed, it would have been a big problem. Challenge is, you know that there is growth, so then you take it that way. Problem is all just happening worst. Challenge is, you know there is a growth, there is a learning, so then I'm going to turn my problem into a challenge in the approach of learning. Adventure is where you're jumping in to create something where you know it's going to be tougher, but you're still going into it. Because you want to learn, you want to seek adventure, you want to seek newness in life. That's the only time you find your potential. Our true potential is only coming out when we are seeking adventures beyond your capacities. That's also called going beyond your comfort zone. Known capacities are this much. Operating within that. Okay, I only know this particular subject. I only know this particular language coding. So I have to figure out some way to be in this organization, in that technology, in that skill. My last 30 years, all I've done is this. And so then I don't think I can get a job elsewhere. So let me just be here in this particular environment. That's living in comfort zone. Meditation is breaking that comfort zone, dear friends. Comfort zone leads to boredom, stagnation, no juice and sweetness of life. Just go, do, and come back. But when we intend to seek new knowledge, And which is what meditation is helping us to trigger to learn something new. And so then automatically we go into doing it. Seeking new knowledge is where it starts with. It's called learn, do, be. Learning first, doing next naturally, and being after. When we shut ourselves off of learning anything new, if I'm curious about what happens at death, what happens at death? Is there death? If quantum physics says that we are energy and matter is coming through observation, so then what is death then? I'm becoming energy and I have access to energy now. So can there be death? Or can I look at death differently now? Can I communicate? And so when we are curious about it, then we start learning about what happens at death. What happens after death? What happens in these unconscious states that many people go into in accidents? An accident, you go into unconscious state, coma, we call it. What happens for people at coma? There are masters like Raymond Moody have studied this phenomena extensively and then always concluded that there is something out there that most people have said that it has been taken through some light beings come and they're guiding them. Many of them consistently said they go through a tunnel experience. They go out at the time of coma or in the coma, and then they go, and eventually it turns out into a light opening. And then there is always somebody welcoming them and then carrying them, taking them together, not carrying, taking them together. And showing them many things. And in the process, they also see themselves right there, maybe in the hospital, maybe in that bed, maybe we're getting operated. They see it and they're able to come back and then tell that there is a beautiful world out there. And so then validation is that I see you, doctor, you're doing these two scissors. I see you, you guys are having 4 nurses there and you're wearing these colors, this and that. We're able to validate sufficiently enough to say that there is something out there beyond death where you've been told that you are out of the body. The curiosity, if it is there, then we learn. And we learn about it sufficiently different, then we can experience it. We start doing it. We start learning more to make it a real knowledge for you, or you actually start experiencing that there is a potential out of the body travel. When you meditate, and whoever is experiencing that your body did not exist to the point where you're trying to move your limbs, but you're not able to. Your legs and hands are not moving at all. You're not there. I mean, you are there, but they're not able to move any of them. And then after some while, it comes back. Then the next thing maybe you're seeing hovering above in your room and the ceiling, and you're looking at yourself nicely, comfortably sleeping or sitting and meditating, potential. Sure, some of us have this feeling, some of us have this experience in meditation. Anybody has these experiences, write in your chat. But it happens. And then something beyond happens where you are seeing so many visions and so many things. That means you're traveling. Pretty much the same experience that many people who are into coma have gone through that experience in meditation. We do this in sleep. The point is difference. We investigate these phenomena, so we start learning about them. When we learn the concept of doing to being, we are set up as a being, set up as an entity to learn, then do, and then be. When an experience happens, if you shut off yourself and say, no, I don't know, this is too scary, I don't know where my body is, and I'm just not able to move my limbs. Am I dead or what? And you stop yourself, then you're not going into it anymore because you don't intend to do that anymore. Whatever has happened, you're not encouraging yourself to experience it more again instead of shutting off. But the way we are learning is that learning to doing to being. Consciously we learn, goes into the subconscious to do, slowly it becomes the body, feels it, body learns it, body knows about it in every cell, which is called subconscious behavior. Then the more you do, then slowly you know it's a very natural state. No big deal. Nothing is going to happen. My meditation, when this happens, okay, fine, let it happen. So what? It's a natural state. Anything learning new is sometimes uncomfortable if it is touching a belief system. Non-vegetarianism is in many ways not good for this body, not good for this complex. You understand and you're trying to read it, it's very discomforting. Come on, how can it be? I mean, I love it so much. This is what I've been told from the childhood. And without this, how can we have protein? And all of these things start coming, and so I feel uncomfortable about it. And so we stop there. But then we learn about it, dear friend. Then we have a choice to slowly go into practice and to look at it alternately. What is it? Let me try. You do it enough times, I'm sure there's something comes going to come out of it. You'll feel better, lighter. You feel deeply in your meditations, otherwise, you'll feel deeply contented that because of me, if I stopped, and so there is an animal saved there today, that revelation will come, that feeling will come at some point, that insight will come. And so we do more of it. And so actually it becomes a natural habit. That's how we break, dear friends, the habits. So the concept of learning, doing, being, the same thing applies for manifestation. You wish to experience something. You learn about it first. What is that you want by going into Cambodia? There are these great temples I heard, Angkor Wat. Only if you learn about it, you can experience something about it. And so then you wish to now experience it. Now, this concept of learning to doing being greatly applied is why you keep doing something to have it as a subconscious program. And then it becomes a natural feeling that, yes, I am visiting Cambodia. I know it happened for me. You have to go into that feeling of manifestation that something has happened to you, then it happens. Because in virtual reality, you are anyway visualizing and dreaming as a possibility. And so then we have to go into that full state that it is happening to me. It has happened to me. We have to go to that state for manifestation to happen very effortlessly. In the context of emotional intelligence, learning, doing, being is a beautiful concept that applies greatly when it comes to fixing a relationship or overcoming a reaction that we have to a situation at a workplace. We repeat it every time, but we want to overcome that a little bit. And everything happens in incremental. Before meditation, when you have a, a colleague with whom you generally have not so great relationship, the first reaction, anytime anything trigger comes, whether it is a review comment, whether it is, in a meeting, a tone that you hear from the colleague, then the first reaction may be to switch off, to go out of the meeting room, switch off your mind completely and say, okay, now this. Other reaction may be to just ready to shout, ready to say something. But how do I change it? First, I have to learn that there is a better response that in that situation I can give. We learn that what are the other ways I can respond to a colleague who is like that. The earlier way is that if I go into a negative feeling, this fellow is a jerk, he does all this always this way. and then you feel pretty angry about it. The earlier way is that you're sending that signal, you're sending that energy to that person to be more of that. The new way is then you're saying, let me be calm. So maybe out of ignorance, maybe out of compulsion, maybe out of greed, out of need of something, this person is doing that. Out of fears, out of survival instincts, he or she is doing it. Let me just step back and then wish them greater understanding. Let me be first calm and composed. That's a new learning if you have, because that's going to help the situation. The other one doesn't help the situation. Then is a new learning. First, you must have the learning. The learning is there, then it is to be implemented. We need awareness. It's called doing. We do it. Doing once does not help. You do it once, then you get next time it happens again. Your potential in the same situation. You have to do it sufficient enough times. That has to go into your mind, into your subconscious, so that it becomes a subconscious trigger and response automatically. To go anything into subconscious, it takes a little repetition, like our driving. You learn, you do, and then you become. So let's understand this quickly. A few concepts around it. It is one of the, and I'll probably take not more than 15 minutes on this. I will conclude still within our time. In the context of emotional intelligence, where if you want to overcome your anger, if you want to overcome those emotional issues with anyone, then this concepts of how is brain learning and body is learning, and how does it get embodied into us in a way that then we know for sure how to overcome anything that is there, that deep rooted negative emotional belief that just shows up. Just shows up. When there is an environmental trigger, it just shows up. Right? And then how do I overcome it? So we understand the science, like Jayshree Madam said in the beginning, that I understood for the first time the science of what meditation is for. Then I started believing into the process. The more you believe into the process, dear friend, then the more you do it, the more beauty may come of it. So emotional intelligence, and this is the whole topic for this whole week, is about self-awareness. There is a cycle which will cover more of it. There is a bunch of things: awareness, expression, empathy, social skills. Emotional intelligence is enhances leadership, decision making significantly. And you become a model leader when you have possessed a great emotional intelligence. I was talking to one of um, my through my daughter, we met, and then I met the family friends. I was talking to him, he's a quality control head in a company. He was talking about it, how even though different business unit heads are very, very rich and then very educated, learned, but then how survival oriented they become when it comes to we introducing any quality control process, and suddenly it becomes a big challenge. And then you know it in a conversation how survival oriented they become. They're worried, they are resisting significantly of introducing something that's only good for the company and for the clients. And so then it is for us too. But that thinking is not there. They by default go into their old zone, resisting, pushing, saying, no, this is not possible. If it is so, then it is because of you. And then we got to put your name out there to the board or whoever that when it comes to delivering on time. So step back. By default, they react. And somebody who's already made a decision and said, this is going to be not good for me, is very difficult to explain to them. We need the attention, awareness to learn first, to listen what is being told. So meditation is technology for self-development, development of the self, is process for building emotional awareness, which we are learning this week, and builds calmness, clarity, and empathy and focus. Reduces emotional reactivity. So the understanding is that the quantum physics understanding that we heard earlier last week, observer effect is there, that everything is energy, emotion is also energy, and it can be changed. Everything is energy, its emotion is energy, it's an energetic state, it's high versus low, so it can be changed. If I change that energy, then I change what I experience around me. Simple. It's not because of somebody that I'm here that this, it is because of me that somebody is there. That's the fundamental shift in the understanding. It's what I emit as emotion, the signal, the electromagnetic energy that is sent out is what is carried to everybody else. If I have blue color light onto the stage, blue will show up. Red color light, red will show up there. Blue cannot bring red. Pretty simple. If I'm sending a signal of electromagnetic energy carrying frustration, carrying deep anger, then that's what the others receive. Pretty simple. It shows up there in a way that influences depending on how strong or weak they are. In a normal scenario, many people are ready to they succumb to somebody else's thought. Meditation fixes your thought process, becomes strong-minded. So we don't succumb to others' energy. That's stage two. But so when people are of certain understanding that they feel vulnerable with others' thinking, others' responses, that means they're ready to receive your energy as emotion. And so they succumb to it and they become more of that as you see it. You wanted to see red, you put a red color focus light onto the skin, you will see red. That is natural. This is not that naturally understood. But the point is that emotions can be transformed through observation. What you observe is what you project out there, right? So, dear friends, there is an important slide here. When you shift your energy from a quantum physics perspective, because everything is happening through our energy becoming matter, we need to shift our energy to create a matter of what you look for. In manifestation, we understood that, okay, I'm going to feel about my future. I feel my future as if it's happening to me. So you're shifting your energy. You're doing it over and over. And you shift your energy and then you're trying to indicate to the field that this is what I'm looking to receive. And so naturally the energy you put out there is what you will receive with. Now the same thing applies to every aspect of life. It's the concept of shifting an energy. And so when I have a negative emotion, if I shift it, then I can change my reality, right? Simple. So the point that is what? If I want a red light on the stage, then I'm projecting a red light is great, then I'm aware, and so I'm doing it. Now, what about emotion? I'm not aware what the implication of why I'm being frustrated, why I'm being deeply angry with this person. I'm not aware of the implication. That implication is that what I'm projecting is going to the other person. So I just need to step back and become aware of the implication of that, which is the awareness of what we are doing and the awareness of emotion. Then naturally, the moment we know aware of implications, if I know that if I want red light and I'm going to switch on the blue light, it's going to be blue implication is going to be different. So you know it. So I'll be careful about putting red light switch. When I understand the implication. So if the awareness of emotions is essential if you want to shift emotion, if you want to build relationship. So meditation is a method to become aware. Wisdom is the method to know the implication. When you have these two, dear friends, automatically, then you are having a greater outcome. You are going to shift your emotions to something better, if not today, tomorrow. Now, that concept of today to tomorrow is called learning to doing to being. So, our mind divided into three conscious mind, neocortex, human brain is called learning brain. It keeps learning. The subconscious mind, yellow color brain, the little lemon-sized shaped brain is called doing brain, which is subconscious, which is emotion driven. Primarily emotional learnings are here. The being brain, which is essentially every cell of us, everything that's out there, is what you become as an individual. It could be your ego self or what you become, or if somebody keeps on praising you, fall to the illusion, then you feel like you're very superior, you are the most talented person in your company. You become that. What do you carry in yourself as be is a question. Do you feel you are like more superior? Do you feel you're more equal? It's a being. It depends on what you keep practicing to become that. So the concept is that we learn first about something, then we apply, repeat it, change a bit, do it again and again. So it slowly becomes a subconscious program. And the more you do, as subconscious auto response, slowly it becomes your natural state, a being state. I have a choice to become very egoistic. I have a choice to become very equanimous to people. I have a choice. The choice is driven based on what you learn. What you learn is what is eventually driving the choice that you're going to make, and so that what you become at some point, what you become becomes your character. So while talking about the concept of Vakshetra, or the power of impeccable speech, we briefly touched and said you cannot. It's futile to go and correct somebody when they're shouting at you or shouting at somebody. It's not going to help. Correcting that behavior is not going to help. Where is that coming from? There is lack of understanding. There is perhaps a survival instinct. There is perhaps a feeling that I'm being overridden. So how can I fix that understanding from there? Then automatically, then they will take a different response when they become aware of what is that they're doing. So it starts with learning and then goes into doing and then becoming being is the concept. So now a little bit technical, there's a typical, it's called the yellow color brain that is there, which is called the limbic system, has got, we said emotions brain, has got a core center called amygdala. Amygdala is the one which holds emotions, meaning it releases chemicals that make us experience that emotion in our body when something happens. They're positive emotions, they're negative emotions, are low vibration, high vibration emotions. One expands energy and a shrinks energy. And so this amygdala is sort of by default, because it is wired deeply to a response based on the condition, it by default is called amygdala hijack is happening all the time. That means without you knowing, consciously aware of something happening to you, you already taken a response. You learned that next time in my home, when my in-law, dash in-law, it could be mother-in-law, daughter-in-law is coming, or my father-in-law and son-in-law is coming out, then I am just stopping, drawing away. I'm going away into my room because I can't face this stuff. Now you learn that's your natural behavior, but you learn that, okay, by doing so, you're only making the other person more agitated. And so then that's not the way. Instead, I should be just quiet and then do what I'm doing in the hall. That's what new learning you had. And that's a better way of dissolving the situation. You learned it, you want to do it. But the amygdala hijack is happening in a way that before you even do it, dear friend, the amygdala is going back and then doing the same response that you did before every time. That's called amygdala hijack. The subconscious sort of takes over. The response of subconscious to a reaction to an information they seek is sub-seconds, whereas the response of conscious mind, which is where the active response from your conscious creator is the frontal brain, the neocortex, is in order of seconds compared to the sub-second is called subconscious mind. So subconscious mind takes over. And so even though you wanted, it takes over, and so then it still behaves the same way that you've done. It's called subconscious hijack. The conscious mind, and there is a little bit, there are two things that play in our brain. One is the outer brain, which is called the prefrontal cortex. And second is the inner brain, the subconscious mind, which has got this amygdala. There is this constant tuffle. The prefrontal cortex, which is essentially the area behind this frontal cortex here, behind that, there's an area which is fundamentally is for situational awareness. That area, if it's not actively there, and so then the amygdala, which is your subconscious, which is sort of wired to respond, because that's the way to protect yourself, by the way. It is designed so you protect from physical dangers a lot. Then we associate with mental dangers by talking about, oh, this person, if I'm there, I'm really going to be very, very sad, and so I have to run away from this person. And so then we keep repeating that, repeating, and so it becomes an active response, subconscious response, where we get hijacked into doing the same again and again. So the prefrontal cortex, which is part of the conscious mind, and then amygdala is kind of subconscious mind, sort of have who wins this time. Amygdala by default is designed to protect, and so it wins. Now it needs to break this chain, and this prefrontal cortex has to become a lot more active and alert. It needs to have a lot more control. Meditation fundamentally is helping to increase that area of the brain and the conscious mind called the prefrontal cortex, called situational awareness. It increases. Meditation increases thickening of all of it. And so the prefrontal cortex area, which is responsible for situational awareness. So what it is doing is that, wait a minute, in this situation, rather than me running away into my room or really shouting at this person, I may step back and be calm, because that's what I learned yesterday. The prefrontal cortex it builds an awareness, and awareness with awareness, it gives a signal to another part of the brain called frontal cortex, which is the CEO of the brain, which is then taking the signal. The signal is saying, hey, this time you just stay quiet and then don't go do what you're doing. That will come when you repeatedly learn and learn and learn. When your learning becomes strong enough, then that control to prefrontal cortex, which is sufficiently there to give and say, now use a different option. For that, we have to keep learning and learning and learning difference. In order for us to have this amygdala not take over, instead of conscious response to be given, then we have to continuously learn sufficiently enough to become a repeated neural circuit in the brain so that it can be picked up pretty quickly by a frontal cortex as a response, as a decision. Now, this has various reasons, and this whole concept goes further and it applies quite a bit for emotions, because it's about to do with the learning in our brain, a number of circuits that form. If the learning that we do is simply reading text, reading a book about this concept of staying quiet is better. Reading a book is great just by reading text. Reading a small note is great. Okay, emotions are always there. Be quieter, guys. It is a good practice to be quiet. Okay, some guideline is there from our office. That is fine. We read the guidelines. So it forms learning into some circuits, and then they call it neural circuits. Our learning happens differently, and then the way brain is set up, our learning happens in forming many, many circuits in your brain when you learn with visual and feeling. When you learn with visual and feeling, you record that information in your brain deeply in lot many circuits, as opposed to learning simply by small text. We know it. One of the reasons why people come here and they change is because they learn with the feelings of the other individual was sharing their experience, saying how I was before, and how worried I was, and then how I feel with their awareness. They're telling their feeling. Sometimes they express with tears in their eyes, emotionally. Sometimes they're expressing a lot of confidence. All of that translates to learning, recording that information that we're learning. But the same thing is about staying silent. I used to have so many challenges in my life in the past. But meditation, something helped me. And then I just decided that I just got to be quiet because the family just always suppressed me. And whatever that is, when I decided to be quiet, then to revolt. And then that is a point in time that perhaps are probably breaking down a little bit. And then there is tears, this and that. But then it's all the feeling that records in our brain deeply with a lot many circuits. Lot many neural connections are formed to learn the same information to be quiet. Reading a simple sentence as a guideline in an office versus knowing here, or reading somewhere once versus knowing and then learning the same through a feeling or a visual makes it a lot more deeper learning in our brain, and so then it gives more opportunity for our frontal cortex to take that responsibility. And so learning is, that's why it's called a picture is worth 1,000 words, is because if you learn something with a picture, you record and use many parts of the brain, and so your capacity to remember is more. That means your capacity to operate out of using that is more simple. So a program like this works greatly is because we are learning a lot more visually with a feeling. People are expressing their original transformations. It is a very important part. Books are like that. When you're reading books, it is the author's emotions are expressed differently in many, many ways, sometimes poetic, and then it has a very important impact. As our learning, rather than monotonously hearing some good things, and we must go towards reading books, we will go towards even more learn through videos. The same concepts become a lot more clearer and a lot more deeper, and so our doing becomes easier, dear friends. So the concept of learning, doing, being is very important and plays a great role in the entire emotional intelligence process to shift our emotion. It plays a great role in manifestation process. It plays a great role in just forming a meditation process circuit strongly in our brain for that we continuously listen to others' experience to learn that it is okay to have thoughts, no problem. You will read in the wisdom note a little bit, it's okay to have thoughts. But then when you listen that with feeling from somebody else, I used to have all thoughts all the time. But still today I'm like this because I just overcame all my challenges. Then it sticks pretty well. We understand this aspect, and so then we do not ever stop learning. And then we go towards higher form of learning, which is to visual form of learning where possible. That's where YouTube becomes so popular because it's a natural phenomena. It's a natural phenomena that videos are the way that naturally soul guides us to go into a form of learning that is deep for us, and so that it thrives. But for us, it's a scientific concept that when I learn, and when I learn, and when I learn, then I have an opportunity to go into doing it, and so when I do it, then I become of it. So don't kill yourself, or don't judge yourself. And after starting meditation, and then you're able to only 2 times, you're able to stay calm, but then 8 times, you're still shouting. Be certain that if you do it again, learning to doing, you be certain you do it again and next time and the next time and next time. Slowly you become it to a point where it becomes a natural state. So it is okay to be sometimes calm. It's okay sometimes be angry and then losing that emotional temperament. It is okay because it's a natural process. This concept must give us adequate understanding that when people read, for example, Bhagavad Gita, they listen to Bhagavad Gita whole lifetime, and we make this judgment. It also gives us understanding that we should never make judgment about anybody because they're in the process of learning. That means they're going to become aware at some point. I read and I listen to Bhagavad Gita every day. Okay, so my dharma is more important. That if I have more knowledge, then automatically my challenges change. Automatically my challenges resolve, and so I go into a different state. I know this. Knowledge liberates. I know this. Jnanagni Dagdha Karmana is there. I know it. Body is simply just a cloth, so just change it. I know it. But when the death comes, then I'm just suddenly feeling that no, I'm crying, crying, crying. But it's okay. Then we say, yeah, you listen to Bhagavad Gita, but where is your exhibiting character? Oh, waste. But that's the point, dear friend. We spend lifetime just simply listening, 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 listening. At some point, we become to go into doing. At some point, then slowly, slowly changes to being. So it is great if somebody is listening to Gita or listening to their own religious scripture, because that means they are making an attempt to move into doing state at some point. It's better than not doing, learning anything at all, because then you never have the new response. You never have your understanding. So from our perspective, the only thing difference is that's why you keep asking. Come back until this becomes your truth. Come back to the sessions again and again. You might have heard the five sutras, but are you implementing five sutras in your life every day? If the answer is no, then you must come back. And then be very attentive, listen to it as if you are just a zero in the beginning stage. Then we'll learn fully. So we'll build upon these concepts about this whole emotional intelligence is changing for people because they're becoming aware. So they're first learning what could be my alternate choice. What is my conscious response should be differently from where I am. For that, we're reading many books. For that, we're understanding here. Being silent, of course, is giving us a lot of reflection. It dissolves automatically many situations of emotions. We know this. In many cases, not all cases you can be silent. So there is some other response. You need to learn the responses. And they've been happening now over a period of time when you read books in this last 20 days. And more will happen in the next 20 days. How should I respond? So thank you very much for joining and listening to this important concept of learning, doing, being. These concepts can be further extended through this beautiful book that's being read right now. And many of you, if you're attending book clubs called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, sort of lays out beautifully this concept. And when we understand deeply scientific understanding, then we know we'll never miss a class. We know that we are going to go there. And we understand this concept deeply. Even if I behave my old way, I don't judge myself. And I don't come and say, hey, this is not happening to me. The more you go into that old state and say, not happening, dear friend. Now you're learning that more. And so that means you're going to bring that more again. It is called Shravanam Mananam Nididhyasa. Shravanam Mananam Nididhyasa. So first you have to keep on listening, 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 listening. It's called learning. Mananam, we keep recollecting to do it. When you to do it and recollect. So we do it a few times. And you can apply this in learning a dish to cook. First time, of course, you're very, very careful. You're measuring with spoon quite a bit. It seems like it is very difficult. Oh man, this is too difficult. I think I just want to do it. Okay, today I'll do it and then give up. But then as you do, then there is some emotional payoff that happening. Then you go back and do it a second time, it becomes easy. You're not that measuring so much because you already know you've learned it enough that you're doing it. And then finally, you are closing your eyes, even doing many things, also still able to put your spices and ingredients so perfectly because it become a natural state within your subconscious that you don't have to really put energy into it. By the way, this concept is beautifully there is enough research now for organizations to utilize the power of subconscious. The conscious mind that is going to be used for day-to-day activities. Subconscious can be, for goals are programmed to subconscious as doing over and over by visualization, then subconscious is programmed enough that it works for you automatically. This autopilot response of subconscious, which happens by doing a few times, is greatly utilized, where we utilize the power of subconscious to shift life at a larger level, while day-to-day things we apply a conscious mind to do it today. There's more to it. We'll learn in this program. So thank you all. Jai Madam, any announcements?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session. And yes, friends, today, like Sir rightly said, the right book for today's book club sessions, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. So facilitated by senior masters. I'll just post the message in chat, and it'll be batch 1 will be from 8:15 to 9:15 a.m. IST, and batch 2 is from 8 to 9 p.m. IST. So Monday and Wednesdays are for book clubs. So please do attend these insightful sessions. Yes, that's it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we go into real emotional intelligence concepts of how meditation is helping us build founding based on this particular thing. That with awareness we situationally change things, and so then we talk about what is emotional intelligence and how this is developed greatly with meditation. Thank you all. See you tomorrow again.
Yes, I am. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. Happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I know the light of love is shining in my eyes. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. A little birdie told me that life is so sweet.
Okay. What do you have, madam?
Yes, the date is November 17. There is a correction in the message. Yes, and we have some questions, 2 questions. Can we take this up?
Yes.
Yes, in the Q&A box, Shripal ji has mentioned, if we listen to any negative words, can we use the delete command as like delete command in the computers?
If you have aware, of course you want to do that. We have to use all the commands that are there appropriately. And so, but that requires that awareness that, okay, there is a delete command available with me. Right. Slightly different. There is a grading with respect to a brain working. Conscious mind, subconscious has a lot more power and control because it's autopilot, right? Whereas in your keyboard, commands are all in the same power. So there is that difference is there. And so we just need to build that extra awareness about it so that we can overcome the subconscious instinctual response. Right. But yes, you're right. We use the delete command to delete, which is called not firing the brain circuits. Basically, what do you do to deletion? They're there as hidden brain circuits in there. How do you delete them? By not using them. By not using them. The memory is formed, it is there. That memory is already there. It has to be weakened slowly because cells die. This is how the concept works. The cells get born and cells die. Every minute, every second, we are having a million cells produced in the body, a million die. So and naturally brain cells also die. And so that if I don't use a memory, and the reason why memory loss and people say all of that is because whatever we learn, it doesn't stick very well, meaning it's not gone to subconscious level because just superficially learned. And if you repeat it, then slowly you have a stronger circuit formed, become bigger and thicker circuit. And so it takes time to dissolve. That's all it is. So when you have these older negative thoughts that are there, then they go away naturally if you don't fire them. So when the thought comes, the way to do is to shift your attention to something else. That's what you have to do. So then you're not firing that thought, you're not firing that memory, you're not recollecting that memory. You shift it to something else, your attention to something else. Then you're not recollecting, that means it's not firing, that means it's not becoming stronger anymore. And so it is there. Now, in eventual time, as the cells die, that memory slowly wanes away, it goes away. That's sort of how things are happening. And that memory part will be reused for something else. It gets freed up, it gets reused for some other information to be kept. Right. And so the actively to delete something is to not fire that memory, not fire the circuit. So for that, we need to have awareness. Awareness to become quieter, awareness to do something else, awareness to go into a positive thought, positive emotion like that. Yes.
So Sophia G is asking, what will happen the consciousness for the one who died after Alzheimer disease?
Madam, for everybody, it's the same answer. Their only physical illness is only here because physical body is only here. But what gets carried is your views and understanding, which is called your personality, is what is carried because that's what is sitting there in energy. What is sitting there? That distilled wisdom of your life is there. Your conscious mind, which is for the most part is acting through senses, is all dissolves everything here because it's sensory, and then body goes, the physical senses go, and so then nothing about conscious mind needs to be remembered because it's all linked to the body. What is left is your subconscious wisdom that is there, distilled wisdom from your lifetime. So it depends on what the person's mindset was when they left to the other side. The personality of how they were thinking that what life they're going to have in the next life. If they thought out of freezing pain and then real scares, fear and things, then they're going to say, "This is so bad, and I don't know where I'm going." And that remembrance will come when our understanding is poor. And if they had thought about it's really going to be challenging for everybody because of me and this and that, and then go in that. So then they potentially have a strong intent to come back to take up another lifetime in the similar situation of similar nature. Because that's a strong intention they make before leaving. And becomes a very important piece of many things they want to experience in the next planning to come back. Everybody comes back until the time they graduate from learning from this planet. Graduation is where you know that there is nothing to learn. There's no suffering moment to moment. That's the time of graduation. Nothing to learn. We're not there in a college once you finish 12th grade. Then we finish learning, and so then we go to the next one. Same thing. So everybody goes, and then everybody comes back. Energy to matter gets absorbed back again elsewhere through some other thing, taking a part of what I had as my wisdom to be experienced back again. So if I thought that this is really bad, I should have done many things I didn't do for my family, I have to come back and do it as strongly at the time of leaving, out of sympathy and then out of many, many such reactions, then I'll come back and get stuck potentially in a life of that nature again. But if I thought I've come here, lived my life greatly, and I understand I'm consciousness, I will go out there and then plan my next venture, whatever that is, beautifully. And that is my state when I leave my body. And then so then it plays as a very important input in my overall planning. And potentially I take up something else that is more appropriate for me as opposed to a limited view understanding and so a limited view feeling that I set out there. So it's like that. Read books by Michael Newton, Journey of the Souls. But one thing is certain that a soul, when anyone who goes to the other side, they are having a less challenging life. The gross matter is here. In energy, there's no gross matter. Things happen much more instantaneously. And there's a lot more higher understanding than what we are. In general, we honor our commitments. We are free will beings. So whatever we say and think and feel all the time, constantly, they become your karma or actions pending desires to be fulfilled. That's all it is. They'll come back to be re-experiencing them. So the point is, in this whole learning, we recognize and say, what is not important for me, drop it. Why should I go constantly? Why should I keep seeking a second house and a third house? I seek, and if I don't have now, I'll have to come back to build a second house. Only to realize after working for 10 years, it's not giving me any more extra emotional payoff other than that maybe just that single inaugural ceremony. After that 1 month, it feels like another thing, that's all. As a waste of time, you say only for this 10 years I worked, we're building a second house, we recognize and then drop things that are unnecessary, and then recognize and go towards things that are giving us permanent joy and happiness, which is in helping others, which is in sharing what we have, which is in learning music, dance, art, which is in, of course, meditation. which is exploring various worlds out there by constantly contemplating what is out there. If you thought Earth's planet is great, beautiful, then is it possible then that there's got to be something far greater elsewhere? Is it possible? Then don't we want to go there then? If you thought Niagara Falls is the best falls in the world, the most beautiful falls, most connecting falls, and if you want to go there, don't you want to go to something 1,000 times greater than Niagara Falls if it is there somewhere? We think that way, and then we naturally start exploring. It happens through meditation greatly and by increasing our understanding and contemplation. So everybody has a great life when they go there, because they eventually look at and say, it is all just a temporary phenomenon. I'm going back to Earth plane to learn. So no student thinks that, okay, permanently my life is stuck in this college. They know that, okay, they're there for 4 years, 5 years, that's all. We know that. Their understanding is there at that level. And so then we come back with another lifetime. And every student knows that, okay, I know they're very disciplined organization. I probably have to really, really hold up to myself. I know my parents want me here. I'll do. I may be having some challenges out there, but I'll just do it because it gives me greater path for my future. So that's how everyone comes back here with that understanding. That even if challenges are there, I'm learning a lot through the challenges. There's a good reason why I'm doing it. They have a big picture, they come back here. So good. A student knows that it is very grilling, but they wants to do because they want a better seat, better education later. So with that, you come back. But the problem is, we come back and we forget the whole plan. And so we are stuck. Meditation helps us to remind the plan that we have. And so that we're able to accept every situation not as a problem, but as a active adventure that we sought to come. I took the cancer. I came with one limb. I chose to experience deep loss in my business so that I can become more forgiving of whatever, seek forgiveness from anything that I've done. And so we create situations. They're not really tragedies, the way we think about. Richard Bach says, the mark of your belief, the depth of your belief in injustice and tragedy is the mark of your ignorance. The depth of your belief in injustice and tragedy is the mark of your ignorance. And so we understand, and that's why we increase our views and understanding. All right, we read. Yes, Yeshavan.
Yes, sir. That's all the questions for today.
Okay. Okay, friends. So we'll see you all tomorrow again. Thank you.
I know I am complete. I have all the keys to love, joy, and peace. The power is infinite. Love will increase. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. I'm happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I know the light of love, it's shining in my eyes. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. A little birdie told me life is so sweet as I listen to her song.
Yes. Thank you, Kiran sir. Thank you. Heartfelt gratitude to you all, friends and masters. See you all in tomorrow's session. Thank you.